And welcome, dear listeners, and hopefully, if this goes correctly, viewers as well. This is my first foray into trying to record an actual play. So we're gonna see how this goes. And I apologize to everyone that you're just looking at my lovely Discord screen because, as I mentioned to these guys, all the fancy overlays and stuff is a bridge too far at the moment for attempt number one. So we'll see. But if nothing else, we're for sure going to have the podcast audio. So welcome to an actual play of the Tension Engine SRD. So we released that a while back, and at the start of July started a game jam for more folks on itch to potentially create some stuff and wanted to do an actual play through things. There's enough in the SRD, I think, for a very basic, stripped down, generic heroic fantasy sort of game. So we've got a short adventure here that some folks are going to be kind enough to do along with us. And it will give you, again, this is the very stripped down version of the rules. Even in the SRD, there are several options and kind of additional layers that are suggested that folks could tinker with. So, this is also maybe an intro to folks that are following along with Jerod and I as we have our podcast series, Will and Jerod Make a Game. Which is going to eventually turn into a game called Honorbound. So there is quite a bit that has been tweaked on top of that. And most all of that is Jared's brainchild, but this at least has the very kind of ground level. Hey, if you know how this works, you'll probably pick up the tweaks from Honorbound pretty quickly. So, that said, I gave that whole spiel, didn't even intro myself whatsoever. I'm Will from Gamenomicon, the owner and sole official employee. You may know me from games like Party First, the game of 1980s old history horror, or Warmer in the Winter at the exact opposite end of the scale. Oh, hey, Jared's got copies of Party First and Twilight War, which he worked on. That's a supplement book to it. Or the opposite end of the scale, Warmer in the Winter, the game of Hallmark style holiday romance. So I'm nothing if not a diverse world builder. So joining us today, unfortunately, we were going to have a fourth who's having some internet trouble and unable to make it, but we've still got two players with us that are game to soldier on. So first, I'm going to kick it over to Jerod, since I think folks are probably used to hearing from him.
Yeah. Yeah, if you hear his voice, you'll probably hear mine later on if you're doing it. Yes, I'm one half of Will and Jerod Make a Game. Yeah, I have Paroxysm by Design Publishing. Again, just one person, a lot of smaller stuff. But working together with Will, we've got mine, Goblin Market, in production yet. And I am currently working on Honorbound, but also on a mini campaign for Mutant City Blues. If
Nice.
you haven't checked out any of the Gumshoe stuff, it's awesome. Mutant City Blues might be one of my favorite things that it translates to. And I'm just really excited to be here. I can't wait to check this out as a very stripped down, just slinging some dice.
All right. Then we've also got Zach, who has joined us for some other stuff in the past, though I don't think on podcasts that aired in the end. Though I've been on his podcast, which I'm sure he's going to take a sec to talk about.
Yeah, hey everybody. My name is Zach Walsh. I run a podcast called Schedule for Launch where I talk to indie creators about the stuff they're making. Currently on hiatus, but there is a backlog of I think just shy of 120 episodes at this point. Yeah,
Holy
it's big.
moly.
So, a lot of creators. I believe I've had both Will and Jared on the show. Actually, yeah, for Party First and Goblin Market. So,
You know,
and I think we did one on Twilight War too, actually. So I feel like
I
we
did
might
not.
have.
I sort of feel like
I
I've
feel
monopolized your time now that you point that
do we
out.
do it on Twilight War? Or was it Warmer in the Winter? I think I think we
Um,
might have done it for warmer in the winter. Now I'm thinking about it, but either way, I really like the
gotcha.
party first engine right now. I'm I'm kind of all over the place. You can hire me for voiceover and stuff if you want to find me online. It's scheduled for launch, and I'm gonna be all over the internet doing different actual plays and hosting stuff. So here's hoping that keeps up. And I'm just looking to play Alexio today, this wastrel, which is a word I didn't know until until Will was like, "Hey, you want to come help me with this?"
I've got
So
a character just for you.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, in that case, Zach is kind of alluding to some of our next steps here. So I'm going to give a real quick overview of um, the baseline of the system and where we are to intro this adventure. And then we're going to let these guys tell us a little bit about the characters they're playing. So, first up, the tension engine is a d6 dice pool system where you are selecting an attribute and a skill from your character sheet. And those stats then will have ranks or a number associated with them. And you're picking a number of d6 dice. It's all d6 that matches the total of those. So, say you have a 2 in vigor and a 4 in athletics, your pool is going to be 6. You're going to roll those dice and select 2 of them to keep, and then use that total to determine your success or failure. That at least is from the player facing side of things. The GM is doing something very similar as well from their side, and we can talk more about the specifics of that as we get into it. But the 2 of them are then comparing those totals against each other to see who wins or does not. But as a little bit of a twist here, one of the, in my mind, key parts of the system, it's what gave it the name the tension engine, is these roles are going to be generating meta currency for both players and GM. In this version of the rules, the most kind of basic, simple, streamlined version, the players, when they roll, all the generation is only on player rolls, by the way. Players are going to be generating tension, that's the GM's meta currency, on ones. And then they're going to be generating adventure points, that's their meta currency, on sixes. So we'll go from there.
Woo!
Woo, yeah. Now, tension gets spent, of course, to do things on the GM side, but it also can cause an explosion. It can explode or break, I believe it's sometimes called in the rules there. This was inspired by the original kind of cinematic pacing we were going for, and causes something kind of somewhat unexpected to happen. When you know tension is getting closer and closer to that breaking point, which is 10, it's going to explode. And the GM then is going to roll on a pre prepared table of 6 different possible things that might happen. Those are going to be bad, but not necessarily catastrophic. Surprises, difficulties to overcome, unexpected events, that type of thing. So, that is the super short rundown of the system itself. In this particular case, we're getting ready to run an adventure called Caravan. Now, Caravan, which is based, like I said, just on the kind of generic fantasy examples from the SRD, Caravan takes place in a high fantasy world. There's orcs, dragons, and the rest are all assumed to exist in this world. They're just not the focus of this adventure. Likewise, warring kingdoms, dire needs to stave off the end of the world, all of that. This adventure, though, focuses on a smaller scope. This is a small group of daring merchant friends attempting to make a profit on a long journey through the mountains. So we have a couple characters generated for these guys. I started with Jerod last time, so how about we rotate this time to Zach? Why don't you tell us who you're playing and a little bit about him?
yeah, so I'm playing Alexio, and like I said, he is a wastrel, roguish type, a bit of a waste of space, as I believe the term means. Uh, who grew up on the streets, mastering the arts of stealth and using dexterous fingers to separate people from their coin, until one day he did it to the wrong person and was put into a bit of a position where he met the next friend you will meet in a moment, who definitely saved his hide. Uh, when news of this merchant caravan reached his ears, and after forming up some alliances with a friend here, he decided to kind of escape the mundane life of the city and go for something a little bit more lucrative outside along the merchant trail.
And I'm playing Bronwyn. I'm gonna go with kind of the kind of typical barbarian. She's towering at, oh, let's give her a straight 6 foot. Let's give her a mohawk, furs, war spear, shield. She is a former war band leader who has come down to the southern life. She heard that it's easier pickings down here. And as she came down to find her fortunes, one of her first run ins was at the particular bar where I found someone, or I spotted someone that might be of absolute use. Even though I may think that I am the band leader, I do not have the skills for that at all. But I'm happy to recruit people that I think I find useful and to become comrades to try and earn our fortunes.
All right, sounds good. And actually, I'm going to put you on the spot here mechanically because you said something there that jumped out at me, Jerod. If I recall correctly, you have the weapon master advantage for Bronwyn, I believe,
Yep.
which has you select a specific type of weapon that's kind of going to be your thing. And you'll have some bonuses that may come up later when we play. But is spear then the weapon that she's the master of?
Yes, that's what I'm going for. I said war spear. I don't know how specific we need to get for this. Like big
I,
pointy stick.
yeah, no, I think it's reasonable to leave it at a, she may currently have a war spear, but I think her expertise in spears in general makes sense. I'm Boy, I may be way off base because I am not a spear fighter, but I would think there's a lot of overlap in the skill set from one to another.
I cannot wait to see those hateful emails already. Perfect. How dare
Oh
you,
man.
sir?
This is gonna be when I get a find out that Brandon Sanderson is listening to this show, and all of that spear fighting research that he put into Kaladin in the Stormlight archive. It's gonna come home to roost. Oh man. Okay, well, I think that gives us the quick overview of where you guys are, kind of how you joined up with each other. I'm double checking. I don't think there's really anything else on your sheets that we necessarily need to hit on right at the moment. So let's go ahead and turn our attention to what's going on, where we are. So the two of you have joined this merchant troop, as we said. They are looking to make a tidy little profit, and this adventure begins somewhat in media res. You're part of this merchant caravan. It's come from all kind of walks of life. Everybody's kind of this mixed up, happy but um, let's say eager, ambitious family that's dreaming of striking it rich. So you put a lot of planning and work into this, and you are on your way to the great city of Rockport on the western coast. You're getting close to that destination, and so close you can almost taste it. All that's remaining right now between you are the mountains known as the Gray Tips. A pretty daunting range, but you're about to be on the downward slope, so to speak. You've stopped for um, your rest for your overnight encampment right before you are going to leave the mountains. So this is your last stop before you are through them entirely. So you are kind of around the campfire. Everybody's having a good time, reminiscing about what's going on before. Spirits are pretty high, recalling how it's gone. Both Alexios and Bronwyn are there, as well as a few other folks that you've kind of become familiar with on the travel and become friends with. Oddlaugh, the wagon master, who's a very stout, very jovial, capable fellow. Anel, she's the caravan's kind of onboard medic and healer to help make sure everybody makes the journey, as well as horses and that type of thing to so that you can actually get everything there. And Gala, who is the chief cook, really pays to be friends with her so that you can get all the choicest bits of food. So you guys are reminiscing about what's come before. So in order to kind of set things up and precede the pools here, in most games of tension engine stuff, you're going to kind of gradually build the tension pool as various roles come up and are needed. So we're going to seed it here with some brief kind of flashback snippets as you guys talk about what has gone on before you on the journey. So let's see here. We've got quite a few options available to us as far as things that have happened. And one of these, I think, since there's the two of you, that you're going to have tackled together. This one was a delay right at the start of the journey. Even before you left the city that you were originally in, you hit some delays on getting some necessary supplies, food, and that type of thing. So while you were there, you tried to do some contingency planning on some other types of materials that you were bringing, some goods. So I'm kind of curious, how did you guys tackle that? Let's see here if because we are doing this as a flashback thing, little beyond the scope of the original rules. Let's see in that downtime, you're looking for some extra stuff. Um in the broad strokes, Jerod, what do you think Bronwyn was up to trying to procure some help or some goods?
Uh, Bronwyn, I think, was using all of her excellent leadership skills and to try and drum up extra guards for it.
Ooh,
Uh,
okay.
Basically, by in her mind, in jovial fun, join this caravan, get riches, you'll become powerful. But what actually came out was join this caravan or I'm going to kill you. Uh, so I think I'm going to try and use coerce to see
Okay.
if we can get a couple extra guardsmen. I think she's just like, you're coming with us. And like, haha, funny, funny. But the way her tone is, you do it or I'm going to beat you up.
Okay. That sounds great. And this is an important note, at least the way I usually view this game and this engine is that it's a convince the GM sort of scenario. Here's what you're trying to do, and the player's making the case. I think this particular skill and attribute combo would apply here, and I can veto it if it seems totally off base. But hey, if you've made a good inventive argument, then great. So along with coerce, which totally makes sense, what attribute do you think that probably is?
Certainly. I think it's got to be presence, right? I'm
Okay.
just trying to, in my mind, trying to use my leadership sort of thing. So it'd be 3 plus my coercive 2. So I'd have 5 dice on the roll.
Okay.
Oops. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and roll. Okay.
Let's see what we got.
Got a couple 6s.
Okay. Good,
Oh,
good.
and it went away.
Oh, just if you look on the left-hand side, the column that has players, there's a chat right there
Oh,
that
there it
keeps
is.
the dice
You
rolls
got
in it.
Yeah,
2 6s, a 5, a 4, and a 4.
there it is. Yeah, that roll was crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with so I get 2 adventure points, is that right? Because of the 2 6s?
Yeah, yeah. And you,
And
alas, generate no tension for me here.
hmm,
But let's also see tension. Whoops. Gotta remind myself how this works. On the site itself, there we go. Hit 2 of them and then roll. So tension is going to be how many dice I roll for kind of environmental checks, things where you are doing something against the world at large rather than a specific other adversary. And as tension grows larger, the pool for the world grows larger. So in this case, for these kind of quick little flashback sort of things, we're just going to run those assuming they're all just against the environment. So I've got 2, and hey, look at that. I roll a 6 and a 1. Or no, sorry, I misread that. I rolled 2,
ooh,
2 ones. So you are extremely successful in getting
hmm.
extra guards. Check that off here. Well done. Well done. All right. In the meantime, then, Zach, what is Alexios doing to help out with the goods situation?
Yeah, so obviously one of the most damning things that can happen is having your goods stolen before, after, during the trip.
Hmm.
So, being who he is, Alexio, I feel like he went to some of his kind of underground contacts and did a little socialization to see what kind of patrols were out and about, information gathering on where bandits might be, or recent hits to travelers on the road, and just kind of asking questions and seeing where they can avoid those problems.
Okay. Okay. So you're kind of pre scouting things here.
More or less, yeah,
Yeah.
getting
Okay.
news.
Yeah. Sounds like a good plan. What attribute and skill do you think he's using to kind of get this information?
So to kind of weave through the different information, I'm thinking comprehension and
Okay.
socialize.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds perfect. Socialize. He's talking to people, comprehension to figure out what's what. Sounds
Yep.
perfect.
So that's, I believe that is 6 for me.
All right. And do.
Yep, that looks right. And I'm generating you a little bit of tension there, but
Hey, I'll take
uh
a little bit of tension,
got
though I
myself an adventure point too. So
Nice. I did get slightly ahead of things, or let other things get ahead of me last time. In that the environment should be rolling before the players here, so you know the
mm.
difficulty. So I actually slammed my dice real quick before you did. Sorry, Jared, that we went in the opposite order, but my roll was so bad it didn't matter. So in this scenario, the environment was presenting you 7 that you were up against. I rolled a
I
5 and a
got
2.
24.
So yeah, you crushed that as well. But you did thankfully generate me attention and yourself an adventure point, right?
Yep.
Okay, good deal.
And I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here. So, rolling the 6 dice on there, you get to automatically keep 2. So you got, I assume you're keeping the 5 and the 6, right, for the 11?
Oh, that is true.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could re-roll that.
No,
Hmm.
you've got the win
Oh, okay.
already because you just have
Yeah,
to
oh
beat
yes,
Yeah.
because
7.
it's still higher.
You just
Yes,
have to
that's
beat
right.
my 7, and your 5 and your 6 give you an 11, unless for whatever reason you might want to keep something else.
Yep.
No,
And
I
then,
think I'm okay.
and
This is
just
one of
for the,
those things where it's remembering how to play because it's been a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. That's very literally what we're here doing right now.
yeah, and then just for the viewers at home, so you're rolling 2 dice, but your tension pool right now is only a 1. Why are you rolling 2 dice?
My tension pool was actually 2. You that is the lowest it can go. It doesn't go all the way down to 0. It goes down to 2, so that you can always at least roll 2 dice to make your pair. Is the short version.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right, so now you've got 1 tension, right?
Now, yeah. Well, now I'm up to 3. W- just to make it easier to kind of understand, even though you can't go below 2, I still count the 2. That way you're not, say, rolling 2 dice, but counting 0, then rolling, you know, 2 dice and then counting 2 and that sort of thing, right? So my tension in that case is 2 and just never goes below it. So now that one more tension was generated for me, now I'm up to 3 total. I just can't spend below 2. I treat that as my floor on this.
Perfect.
Okay, so we got some good info on path and kind of scouts and that sort of thing. Okay, good deal. All right, so you guys then you really drummed up some extra support. You found some good um, uh, information about what was going on, and that information also paid off because you were tipped off to some really important extra goods that the delay has have now made available to you before you could leave. So you've had a new opportunity with one of the merchant groups in town there, one of the guilds, who's going to be able to provide you with some extra stuff. So you've got some options here. If I go back to it, potentially some spell components, blacksmith goods, herbs, antiques, rare artwork, everyday essentials, or contraband that you lucked into. I know that was a long list, so I can repeat if needed. But what did you guys find? It's up to you. You know who'd you work the deal with?
I think this is your call, Zach. What did Alexios find?
I'm going to be honest. I think it was contraband. I think we didn't.
Yeah.
I think we may have stole it,
Oh, okay.
mainly because it was never marked. It's not supposed to be there. They can't lodge a formal complaint.
Right. I love it. Yeah. You put your time to good use. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
good.
In fact, I think maybe it was a mix up. Maybe we were supposed to get components. We we got the wrong package and
You still got components. It
tried
just turns
tried the
out that
double.
they are illegal components.
Well, I was gonna say tried the double dip and say, "Hey, where's our stuff?"
Okay. I like it. I like it. So you got double. All right. You know what? I'm willing to go with that. You did double dip. You got both components and contraband. You you had a very fortuitous start to things. at least on your side, because um, this delay has impacted your goal here, the profits that you are shooting for out of this trip. So you guys may see in Fari in my important block here. Of course, I'm tracking my tension points, but you've also got a profits meter here that's
Hmm.
in tension engine terms. That's a narrative table that is only going to go up or down depending on specific narrative items that affect it. So in this case, you've gained some goods that may pay off for you in the future. It's not changing it any at the moment. You've out of the what, four you've got, you're trying to hit 10 to really be incredibly successful at this. Um, the unfortunate thing here is that Bronwyn just went and hired a bunch of extra guards, and it turns out you've got to pay them, and they expect to eat on the way.
Oh, oh no.
Yeah, yeah. So unfortunately, that is going to eat into 1 point of profits. So good, good, good try. It may still be beneficial to have them down the road, but both of these items are going to be long-term investments, shall we say?
Need to make money to earn money,
Yeah,
Bronwyn.
yeah.
Just
I guess we could always
spend
just
it to
leave them
gain
in the
it.
woods.
Don't think that's how that works. It's
Uh,
okay
so
though.
So you guys, are regaling everybody with the tales of how you entertained yourselves during this extra time you had in town. Gala, of course, takes the opportunity with she's kind of stirring the food there around the campfire as you're talking, and she takes the opportunity to reach out and smack Bronwyn over the top of the head with her spoon to say, "Yeah, and you're the one that brought more mouths for me to feed."
Well, if your cookie wasn't so good, there wouldn't be more mouths, would there?
Flattery will get you everywhere. And she kind of, waves it in front of your face and goes back to stirring. Um, Odd Laugh, on the other hand, kind of turns to Zach and says, "Oh, hey, you remember, man, that one time?" And let's roll the die here. We got a 5 on that die, so it's going to be item number 5 from my list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, man, Alexius, you remember that bandit ambush at the river ford? I can't believe that happened. I thought you got the information on where they were going to be. What? How did that happen? And so we're gonna roll here before you tell your story. We're gonna find out how positively or negatively that encounter went for you, Alexios, and then we'll let you kind of respond to Odd Laugh from there.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so I've got 3 tension points now. So the environment is gonna roll 3 dice at you. Whoops, 3 dice. Let's see. So out of that, yeah, I'm gonna take my 5 and my 3. So it's an 8. Got an 8 right now.
Hmm.
So they the bandits came out at you while the caravan was near the river. What'd you do?
Uh, I think it was more so getting on top of it quick and kind of for Alexio, it was pointing Bronwyn where to go.
Okay.
Um, so I think what happened here is, well, yeah, the information wasn't 100% perfect, but we have hired help for that. Our dear Bronwyn here just need a little push in the right direction to get there, and sometimes that includes a small lie to make the situation sound worse than it is.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, Alexio definitely lied to Bronwyn to make it sound like a worse deal than it was, um, to mobilize more people than probably
Ah,
required.
okay. And you know what? Tell you what. Speaking of mobilizing more people, I'm making this up on the fly here. Because you guys had these extra guards, I think that probably counts for something here. So whatever it is we settle on that you're rolling on here in the end, we're you're still gonna pick your two dice as normal, but we're gonna add one to your total. One to the total, not one die, but just one to your total to represent that extra help from those extra guards.
Oh yeah, it was presence and coerce. Like,
Okay, so
so
you're kind of trying to fast talk, so to speak,
fast
with your presence.
fast
You
talk a
really
very tired Bronwyn
okay. All right.
and Bronwyn's guards.
Okay. Well, how does that roll go for you then?
Not good.
Oh no. What?
Oof. So
What?
you gave me another tension. It looks like.
That's yeah.
Do you have
So
any skills that could have helped you out of this at the moment?
uh well, this isn't a conflict roll, so no.
Well, this is a conflict. Any
Oh,
role like this is a conflict. Yep.
uh yeah, I got the ace up your sleeve, which is
Oh,
once per
okay.
session before rolling. Oh, it's before rolling. Never mind.
Yeah. You got to decide beforehand that you were prepped and ready to cheat on this. So
Yeah,
you can remember that for the
for
future.
yeah, for the future.
Yeah.
Um
Okay.
I think so yeah, it didn't go well because I feel like at this point Alexios has a tell and Bronwyn did not believe him. And it was worse than Bronwyn expected, but it was not nearly as bad as Alexios made it out to be.
Well,
Okay.
why are you scratching your nose, Alexis? Lexios?
Uh, I, I just got to sneeze. Hay fever.
Uh,
You know,
hmm.
yeah, go get him, Tiger. He just screams in the background.
Ooh.
Finally, I get mobilized to head over there.
Just a little too late, it seems.
It's like three guys with one bow.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the late entrance there means that the bandits are basically able to steal and run off with whatever they can grab. So Bronwyn and her cohorts manage to run him off, but not before they can grab something. So they run off, and unfortunately, they take another point of profits
I-
away with them.
Cuts back to Oddloff looking at. I feel like this was the hubris moment for Alexio. And he
Oh yeah,
goes,
yeah. I'm
"Uh,
I'm picturing a very like office-esque,
yeah,
like aside looking at Oddloff, who's just like deadpan, just staring at you after this. Like, yeah.
no,
Uh-huh.
it wasn't all bad. It was a learning experience. We can at least hold on to that. Knowledge was gained. Profit lost, knowledge gained.
Profit lost, knowledge gained. Um, yeah. And Oddlaugh just kind of prompts, and he kind of moves over to talk to someone else. He didn't take it very well. I'm gonna assume that when they ran off with stuff, they also managed to take his personal stash of spirits that he was bringing with him. So he wasn't happy about it. On the other hand, Anel is still there chatting with you guys around the circle, and she turns to Bronwyn and says, well, it's been a really eventful trip. What about And let's roll and see which event we get here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Bronwyn, what about that time when we were back in the forest and we were trying to find a local guide who actually knew their way through, and the like woodsmen were not really going along with us, and have like we were nearly lost. I can't believe your attempt to help us out with that.
Well, it's just when you've lived in these wilds for as long as I have, it's a matter of just taking over the situation and leading your warband to safety. And I'm gonna assume that Bronwyn probably didn't even realize what was going on, that the other woodsmen were really trying to find their way. That they were instead, she just was like, all right, these are some rabbit tracks. I know what rabbit tracks look like. We're going to go this way. And I'm guessing this is going to end up poorly because that's probably going to be a comprehension check, which
Okay.
Bronwyn's not the smartest
That makes
person.
sense.
But what would be like tracking? Oh, probably
Hmm.
that would be like an investigation,
That's a
wouldn't it?
yeah.
So
Comprehension
bad.
investigation. That sounds right.
I should
So
have looked at my
2
skills
comprehension
and
and
stuff
no
before I made up my
investigation. We're rolling
story.
2, huh? Woo boy.
Who needs profit?
Ouch.
All
Oh,
right, so
this is
two copy,
rough. So
zero.
well,
What do we got?
let's take the environment roll first. We're up
Yep.
to 4 now, thanks to at least Bronwyn's not generating me any more tension. That's all on our wastrel
Yeah,
here.
that's waste of
Apple.
space,
Um,
Alexia.
so it's not a huge roll on my side. I've got a 5 and a 4. So yeah, we're gonna take that a 9 for the environment.
Boom. I got a 10.
Hey, you did
Well
it! You
done.
did it. Well done. Whew.
And
Well,
for all the confidence in the world, Bron was just like, I just, as a war leader of my renown, just finding those rabbit tracks is all it took. And yeah, and actually it happened. The rabbits like went around some boulders that we needed to get around and got us to the woods.
oh, and Nell is just so kind of in awe of it again. She's like, that was some real knowledge. That is how you do it. Well, the evening kind of wears on. You guys eat and things kind of wind down with the storytelling adventure of what had come before. And you guys hit the hay, take a nap, sleep for the evening, and wake up ready to roll the next morning. Again, this should be your last day in the Gray Tips. You are on your way out. So everybody loads up, ready to go. And you're winding your way down through this narrow mountain pass. On your way down, you can see the plains out ahead of you, where you're headed. But you all start hearing some ominous rumblings up above, and suddenly a massive landslide cascades down, blocking the path in front of you, just with a mixture of rocks, debris, snow, everything. The whole caravan grinds to a halt while you guys kind of assess the situation. So, what do you do now that the caravan has paused?
Give me a second. I just want to make sure that this is natural. It looks like a rock slide, but and Alexia will hop down. He'll walk up, and he's gonna kind of look at the cliff where it is, and he's looking to make sure that this isn't some sort of trap.
Okay.
Fuck.
Studying the stone,
Come, come, my
which
comrade at arms.
which I guess the only thing I can see that would make probably a comprehension investigation. You think?
I Yeah, I think you're probably in that boat again here.
Yeah.
I can dig that. So our environment is still at 4, and this is tag nabbit. I keep misclicking. And this is clearly against just the environment at large, the world here, seeing what's going
Yeah.
on. So let's see. Out of that,
Ooh,
this is where my discretion comes into play because I am keeping 2 dice out of my 4. I do not have to keep the absolute highest total, depending on kind of what I feel is going on here. And this is not the most difficult of things to see. So we're actually going to keep um, the 5 and the 1. We're going to give you a total of 6 for the environment.
Well, I'm gonna say I appreciate that because yeah, I also end up getting a 6 here total.
what
What?
is going on with your dice?
What? Your
Ugh,
your digital dice are cursed. Oh, and you gave me another tension. Thanks.
yeah,
I'll
he
have to start
walks out
using that
confident.
soon. I tried to make this easy.
Yeah, he walks out confident, and takes a look at it, and goes, "I guess maybe."
Ah, well, that's an important question, real quick. Do ties, do the players win ties or GM?
Oh, that is a good question, and I hate that now I don't remember in the like stripped down version of this because we had to reverse engineer it from a specifically horror themed game that goes on the side of the environment and the monsters. Did that get flipped here? Oh geez, I'm gonna have to mute another server that I did not expect to be suddenly chatting right now. I apologize.
Yeah,
um
no worries.
where where
Now,
is
this is also a good moment to ask. I can use adventure points to deal with this in a way.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
what do I do?
Yeah.
I spend an adventure point, and do I re-roll, or is it I get to bump it up by 1?
Well,
Believe it's
we've
bump
got
up,
a
right?
pending question first. Let me say I did just scroll back here, and we did keep the SRD as the player must beat
Beat.
in
Okay.
order to succeed.
There we
So that answers question number 1. Question 2 about your AP, your adventure points. They can be used for a variety of skills and abilities, as you've already kind of started to take a look at. But there is another default rule here that you can spend one to keep an extra die if you would like.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that, and I'll keep that extra 2
Okay.
so that it bumps up
So you
to
can
a whopping total of 8.
you can get to that giant 8 right there. Okay. That works. You are going to take a look at this and realize that yeah, a lot of the kind of detritus and debris that's in it um, are like broken um, items of various kinds. Half a broken shield. A small pair of really ratty boots. Some half broken and burnt sticks that look like they might have been part of a bonfire at some point or something like that. You can definitely tell there's a lot of stuff here that would not normally be there.
Hey, Bronwyn, you might want to have yourself on guard here. Um, I'm gonna find my weapon here because he just shows like the broken chunk of shield and a stick. Now, if your warband was gonna close off a path, what would you do?
Oh, you can tell it took Bronwyn far too long to put together all the words that you said there. And she was like, "You think there's another warband here?"
Holds them up and he's like, "Yeah, maybe."
Oh, well, I'd probably cause an avalanche, just like this one that just happened, to try and slow it down here.
Mm-hmm. And then what would you do? Just, just work with me here. Walk and talk with me while I go get my crossbow. Uh,
Uh, hey, well, then I would attack from above, I think, or from behind. One of the two.
st- starts looking up in the air, looking behind.
Right as Bronwyn says, "Oh yeah, I'd attack from above." You actually hear something. You hear a bellow, a loud, like kind of reverberating off of the valley walls there in the pass, and you guys look up to see a couple of mountain trolls that have come out of a cave at the top of this rise above you, and then kind of scattering out along with them are a handful of mountain goblins that are clearly kind of hangers on with them, trying to do their best to raid caravans and take their stuff. You can see they've got patchwork bits of scavenged armor and clothes that they've been trying to put together.
Boy, cue the screaming. And he just like waits for like the battle roar to come. See,
I will.
goes back to where he was to try and find where he left his weapon.
It's like, Alexios, I think we're under attack.
Yeah, you don't say, eh?
So one of the trolls, the one that had bellowed, he's got kind of more stuff on him that he's cobbled together, and like a big kind of chain necklace sort of thing, like heavy thing hanging around him. Yells down at you, demanding tribute to be let through their pass because this is their territory, their grounds.
How many trolls are there?
That you can see there's two, and let me double check how many. Do do do. Um, there we go. And at least I'm just looking in the wrong spot on my sheet. And at least four goblins that you can see there, but who knows?
Looking up at the other troll, Alexio will like loading up the crossbow with his first bolt, kind of go, uh, troll that's not yelling at us. Is that the stronger troll? He's got the fancier stuff on. Just want
Uh,
to double check.
the one with the fancy stuff on answers anyway, and says, I am lord of this band. You will speak with me. You will treat with me. And kind of pounds his chest there, and says, you know puny merchants, you have 10 minutes to decide if you will treat with Gorthax, or if, you know, if we will descend upon your caravan.
How old do you think they are at keeping time? I just don't know how else to trust that 10-minute mark of theirs. Okay.
Uh, in Bronwyn's experience, how tough are mountain trolls? Are this sound like something that does? Let me put it to you this way: in this world, does Bronwyn think that she could attack a mountain troll? Remember, this is in Bronwyn's mind, like a little inflated, certainly.
Right. a little inflated. She probably thinks like one on one that she could take one.
Take one.
One
Okay.
of them. Yeah.
Uh, and honestly, I think Bruno's probably gonna like call it odd off. Just be like, your caravan. Do we treat or do we attack?
Uh Oddlef kind of, looks over his shoulder up at them. He's on the lead wagon there, and he looks at them, and he's looking at the rock slide out in front, and he's like, I don't think I want to deal with trolls. Like, have you seen their hide? It's thick. I've seen it turn a sword blow. He's very skeptical of it, and he's kind of looking at them, and he's waving at the debris pile, and he's like, couldn't we just clean it? We've got 10 minutes. Couldn't you're so strong, just move everything and then we can go.
Yeah, that'll be my action then. I'll um I'll say something about this. My muscles weren't made for moving rock, but if this is what you want for the most money, this is what I'll do. And yeah, I'll jump forward to put my spear back, jump forward and start tossing rock.
Okay.
Think about it as your daily workout there, Bronwyn. You've got this. It's probably been a little while since you've actually had to apply yourself to strength, so
I mean,
we've been riding a lot, so
it's good to unfurl the tendons.
exactly.
Yeah,
Warm up. It's a warm up.
So
we'll do yeah, vigor and athletics, right?
okay. There
So
we
this
go. That
will
makes sense. If I can, there we go. So we're in the mountain pass. If you glance at Fari, I don't know. I'm having trouble going back and forth between that and the video feed with you guys myself.
Hmm.
It just my distraction. I mean, going back and forth between them. So I've now thrown up here. We've got two trackers going. They are timetables in this case. So this is a scenario where you're trying to do something kind of risky under a particular time scenario. So you're going to be making multiple rolls against the environment here, trying to get this thing cleared out. Versus, on the other hand, you've only got so much time to do it before Gorthex gets pretty impatient, and he comes down to find out why you haven't treated with him. So you are trying to get 5 successes before you get 5 danger up here. Successes are pretty straightforward in how you're getting them. Danger, on the other hand, is going to be generated anytime you roll tension in your pool. So you're going to be trying to work fast, but the faster you do it, the sloppier it might get, and we'll see how that goes. So, Bronwyn is up first. You were starting to say how she was gonna tackle that.
Yeah, with her hands, right?
Okay.
We're just gonna grab rocks and throw them.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
let's
Oh
see.
no! Oh no!
Environment here. We've got
Oh
5
boy.
dice. So in the environment had a really kind of not great roll here.
Okay.
A let's see, I could keep 2 4s, and you know what? I'm going to spend attention to keep the third 4. Getting started on this is going to be a little trickier, so it's a 12.
Okay. I don't think. Oh, even if I. Okay, so I've got 8 here. even if I spend 2 adventure points, that still only gets me to 12. So I have to spend all 3 of my adventure points to get 1 success, and I don't think that's probably worth it to do it.
Okay.
So I
Oh,
also
is that your current roll that was right above
yeah,
mine?
yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, so you generated
I
tension out of that
also
deal.
generated 2 tension.
Two tension. Whew. Ouch.
And I'll just be like, Alexio, the rocks, they're too strong. Not that they're too
Oh,
heavy, they're too strong.
Too strong. So
strong
does
rocks. It's been a while since we've run into strong rocks.
yeah. What do you do? Does Alexios help some way? Like I said before, it's a convince the GM. You could convince me that he's got a different way to try to tackle this that's not necessarily the same way as Bronwyn's. You could also try the same way as Bronwyn. You could just try to talk her into doing it again. Or you could abandon this plan entirely with something else.
Uh,
I'm just floating ideas.
Alexio's plan is to go buy time. Uh,
Okay.
so it's like you use that strong brain of yours, and you're going to come up with a great idea to deal with this. I'm going to go do what I'm good at, maybe. And he's going to try and sneak up closer to Gorthax's other troll. So he's
Okay.
trying to scale up quickly and quietly. Uh, and I'm not really sure which one of these I could use for,
You
unless presence is kind of his way of like hiding as well, because that's kind of social
I'm
standing.
I'm
But that's more
thinking
sway, right?
yeah, I'm thinking discipline in this
Yeah.
scenario because you're trying to
Mm,
maintain like careful control of yourself so that
yeah.
you don't like knock some extra rocks off or make a noise or something.
Yeah, I'd say that and hide
Yeah,
to get up
that's
there.
that sounds good. That sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so discipline and hide. So let's see how the environment is doing. After let's see, after that change, we're up to 6
Oh
now.
boy.
It spiraled quickly.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no.
Whoo! It's gonna be pretty tricky for you to get up there. So there's we're gonna go ahead and keep. You know what? I'm gonna burn attention. We're keeping 3 of those 6s. This is tough. I mean,
Mm,
this is their land, so to speak, and they have their forces. Like they know the lay of it and where to watch and how and where people can get up there. So we're keeping 3 6s. 18's your target.
so Alexio's gonna take a deep breath and then use Ace Up Your Sleeve. And I get to skip that roll,
Okay.
and I get
Oh, well done.
my total is considered one higher than the opposition.
Okay.
So it's almost like he steps back and he is like 10 feet away from the other troll, like real quick.
Okay. Well done. Well done. And you know what? Since we are in the midst of this, and you are attempting to help with the general clearance plan here, we're going to count that success as part of our goal here. So let's mark that down. So you're at 2 danger and 1 success right now.
Um, this other troll, he kind of quietly looks to them and he says, "Well, hello, friend."
Troll like kind of starts a little bit. You can tell like he was not prepared, not expecting to hear a human right next to him. Basically, he turns and looks back at the caravan and back at you.
At ease,
What
we have
are
at
you
least 8 minutes.
doing here?
Well, I came to find out why you're not applying yourself more.
A fly?
Applying yourself. Look at you. Gorthax over there taking all the good stuff. And what are you wearing? You've got Well, you're wearing that. That should be you. You know, when you first popped out with Gorthax, I saw it and I was like, that's the leader there. That's a leader. I think
Uh,
I think I could help you do that.
you
I
can
think
you
what you
can
need is
keep going. Sorry.
I think what you need is just a little confidence, a little friend, somebody to help pull the strings for you.
You can see the confusion on this troll's face at like this entire concept. Uh and it turns and points at some of the goblins and it's like, but I have little friends.
Well, another how many of those little friends are humans who can help you out of this situation? He wipes his hand on his pants and he sticks it out. He goes, Alexios, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Um the troll reaches out with his, huge mitt and
Shakes his finger,
awkward,
basically.
yeah, awkwardly shakes and says, "I'm Venar."
Venar. How do you feel about the name Venar the tax collector?
What's a
Ooh,
tax?
or tax taker. Basically, what we can do. Merchants come through here often, correct? Yes?
Yes.
What if I tell you there's a way that you can get things from them without all of this, without having to knock the rocks down and then pick the rocks back up? We can establish you.
But I like rocks.
The rocks can still happen, but it's a different kind of rocks. It's called the toll booth, and nobody will fight you over it. You can still pick fights, but you won't have to worry about being killed because it would be against the law.
Ah, I see.
It's systems, Venar. Systems. Just imagine it. You come up
Uh,
here and somebody goes, you go, give me the money, give me the good. And you know what they have to do?
what?
Give you the good because that's your job.
Oh, you
Now,
can see he's turning this over in his head, but I think it's probably time to turn this into a conflict to find out how well you're really getting to him. So I think this one is going to be against an adversary in particular. So where in my document, there we go, did I have the stats? So adversaries in this game, which are effectively any non-player character that you might roll against, both monsters, other humans, whatever, have simplified stats compared to the others. So they have one stat total that they roll, which is their power, and that sets their pool. So in this case, as well, when you're going up against an adversary, whoever is the initiator in that scenario will actually be rolling first rather
hmm,
than the environment always rolling first. So in this case, I would say you're up here trying to convince Venar. So you're clearly the initiator in this conversation. So what skill and attribute are you using here as you kind of ply your verbal wiles?
oh, it's probably presence coercion. I want it to be socialized, but we're not socializing yet. This is coercion.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty legit.
Isn't it? Like, because the way I would look at socialize, now this is just me though. This says, and this
Okay,
can be corrected for sure. Socialize was you're trying, well, no, of course you're trying to get they're both trying to get someone to do something. Socialize, you're doing it nicely. Coerce, you're trying to bully them into it, right?
that's
I'd
fair.
say in
Yeah,
this one,
Okay.
you're trying to charm this guy, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. I
that's
would
true.
say
You
so.
you have been buttering him up.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to just try force a will versus uh that. But yes, I do think socialize. If this version of socialize, because I am building Venar up. So let's see what happens here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So what's your
Well,
pool total
ooh,
then?
oof. Well, it's gonna be. I'm gonna spend it a point to
Okay.
take an additional 5, but you also do get 3 tension from this.
Ooh, I get 3 tension. Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So that's gonna be a 16 to beat.
Here we go. Helps if I click on the right things. Okay. So it's how much to beat?
16.
16. Okay, I didn't hear the teen a minute ago while I
No,
was upping my tension. I thought,
that's
what?
16 on the clock there.
Oof. Okay. So, Venar as a troll has 5. Sorry. Um, Man, I goofed when I spoke earlier, so I greatly apologize. I think I missaid the wrong stat earlier. He has 4 power, which is his kind of singular dice pool stat. So let's throw up 1, 2, 3, 4d6. And you know what? I cannot even beat that if I were to spend everything to keep dice. I could elect to boost. I could. There's another rule where I could spend a tension to boost my total by the remaining amount of tension. I can do that instead of keeping dice. But I really like that you're pushing up here towards tension breaking. So I don't think I want to spend anything. I think Venar just keeps his 9, and you get through to him. He's feeling it. You're hyping him up.
Now, these little goblin friends of yours, they're your friends, right? Like, you give them stuff, they work for you, they do what you tell them, but my guess is it's pretty hands off, correct?
Um, yes,
And how
except
does
for when hands take
hands
things we have
touch? Yeah, pass
looted.
them. Yeah, exactly. How does Gorthak teach you? Good to you?
Um,
Mean? Nasty? Call you names? Things you don't like?
Fine. Mostly he does not talk to me unless there's looting to be done.
So you're telling me that this guy comes in and he says, go loot, and you have no other connection to him other than that?
Well, I mean, he is my second cousin, once removed.
You're not even related at that point. Think about it. Why are you working for him when you could work for you? And he just like gently taps him on the chest, like,
For for me,
work for
and
you.
he kind of thoughtfully says that, and he kind of keeps tapping the spot that you tapped. For me, and
You
and
know what?
and
You know what happened to me when this all happened? Like how I got joined, and he looks over them. He's like, I heard that there was a caravan, and he gestures out, like, I was a nobody from a city. You ever been to a city? Big lights, lots of things going on, loud. I had nothing. Greased mitts I stole for a living. I was no different than your friends down there. And he points to the goblins, taking little bits. And then I heard, and along with my friend over there, and he points to Bronwyn, who's like cursing out a stone, probably.
This point, I
yeah,
have gathered the extra soldiers,
okay.
and I'm getting them to get their backs into like holes and like, "Ah!"
Okay. That works. I like your thought process here. And this conversation with Benar has actually it's been going for quite a while. So let's kind of check in with how that has been going for Bronwyn down there. I think this has been going long enough, especially now that you've gotten the other guards in. I think this is probably 2 attempts worth of digging that you've had the opportunity to do. So
Nice.
let's see
Keep
how
them
they.
occupied. If not,
Yeah,
turn them.
let's see how that goes. So my pool right now, however, is 8.
You roll
Uh,
first.
Yep. So I'm rolling. So
Holy smokes.
whew,
Okay.
yeah. So you did have a tough time getting started on this. So let's see what happens with if I keep um 2 of the 5s. I think it's still been tough, but you're coming at it, and hopefully that 10 total is something you can work with.
Do I get any bonuses for having the extra guards that we hired? Thinking
Actually, you know what? That's a great point. Much like we said earlier, they were gonna give you +1 to your total against the bandit raid along the river. Let's do the same here. They'll give you a +1 to your
it's a plus
total.
one total. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 7 dice. All right. You kept 10. No tension, unbelievably.
Ooh, well done.
No adventure points either. That being said, I'm going to spend 1 adventure point for this one.
Hmm.
To put it at 14.
Okay.
Or no, I don't have to because I get the +1 from the guards. That actually, the
There
plus
you
one
go.
actually
That's it.
worked.
You can just keep the 2 5s.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have to spend anything.
So
Okay,
yeah, you've got a
and
success. Okay, so that was attempt number 1, and like I said, we've been talking to the troll long enough. This has probably been 2 attempts worth. So the next attempt, the environment. You know what? You've gotten some of the smaller debris out of the way, and you're getting into some of the meatier stuff, so to speak, at this point. So we're gonna keep 6 and a 5. This one's an 11, just slightly tougher.
okay. All right, there's the tension. All right, you got 2 more, still no adventure points. And I'm gonna have to spend 1 adventure point to put it at a 15 with the +1 got.
All right. So you do wind up getting another success out of that. So you're at 3 successes. Your danger went up to 4. But we got 2 more tension points as well, which means we've hit 10. So tension
Oh,
is going to break.
great. All
So
right.
let's see. We're
Totally
gonna
forgot about
we're
that
gonna
part of the
roll
system.
a d6.
That's the
We
main
get
part of the system I totally forgot about.
a let me find our
I always think
tension.
it's
Yep, here
11.
we go.
That's what I always think it is. It's 11 for some reason.
Whoops.
And I'm just so focused on the danger versus successes and profit that I totally forgot about tension.
Oh no. All
All right.
right.
What do
Well,
we got?
um, this one, we roll here. We're gonna get a 1, and an adversary bursts through somewhere, an opening, a thicket, a door, a wall, something, and attacks. Uh, yeah. Sorry, a 4, not a 1, but um, regardless, an enemy does attack. So one of the goblins, sorry, 2 of the goblins that were kind of lower down, that had kind of come out to the edge to try to like skirt around you, have gotten impatient with what is going on here and these negotiations. And they actually jump out at the group that are working on clearing the path, and attack.
All right.
So,
Sounds like a good time to go back to Alexios.
Perfect. How are things going with Venar?
uh, he points over and he goes, I lived in a city. I had no control of what I was doing. Somebody always told me what to do. Then I came out here and look at this. I have a caravan. I'm talking to you. How many conversations have you had with a human like this?
Um, Normally they are much shorter.
Exactly. See the difference. You want to know what the difference between you, myself, and Gorthax is,
Um, you
other
are
than the human troll
shorter.
thing. Well,
Ah,
shorter, yes. You and I, we can keep our people on a leash. They know when to hold back.
hold back from looting.
I just, I'm like
Not
in the
using
back.
our commands, listening in.
Ah,
Just
so that then
it's
they
a
follow
control thing.
me.
If well, right now they're following Gorthax, right? You following Gorthax? You're waiting for him to tell you what to do?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think about like at this time, the goblins sprint down and goes to attack, and he's like, do you think that they'd attack if you were the one telling them what to do? No, they'd listen and respect you. Watch this. And he points out, and I'm assuming that these goblins are probably gonna get creamed by this small force.
I think there's a good chance of that. So you're Alexios then is pointing Vinar down to like watch what happens to these goblins.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the next point to happen. And
Yeah.
he's like, whatever happens, we're not gonna get mad. Your people are my people, okay? Just watch this.
Okay. Sounds good. So we'll flip back to Bronwyn and company and the goblins who are attacking. Let's go back here to my scenes on Fari, and I believe I can make a goblin visible to you guys over there. Oh, whoops!
There he is.
There they are though. I've got an extra one
Two right
there.
here. Yeah. Oh, three.
There we go. There we go. So two goblin bruisers are coming at you. They have 2 stamina, 2 power, and no dread. So that is gonna be they are clearly attacking you from the perspective of a physical attack. So they are going to be using their power, and dread would be a bit more of, well, maybe a social application, maybe a magical application, that type of thing. In this case, it's definitely physical force coming at you, and they don't have skill in much else whatsoever. So the two of them actually see that Bronwyn is clearly in charge of the force here, and they are used to the biggest, the tallest one being in charge anyway. So they try to go for her first. So
Yeah.
they are clearly the initiators here. They're attacking. We're gonna wind up. This is a scenario where we've got multiple initiators or attackers and only one defender. So both of them are effectively trying to attack you at the same time. We're going to roll each of them separately. Bronwyn, though, or Jerod on Bronwyn's behalf, is only going to have to roll for one total defense to apply against them. So it is possible you may beat one or both, but you'll only have to roll once.
All right, I'm into it.
So let's see. First goblin with his 2 dice. What's he going to throw at you? He's throwing a whopping 7. Second goblin with his 2 dice is throwing a whopping 8.
All right, now with Bronwyn, I'm going to assume because they're attacking with weapons, I'm going to go vigor, which is because I'm using my strength, and I get to use melee. Is that right?
Mm, I think
So
so. Yeah, they are right up here in very close range.
we are definitely in my wheelhouse. This is the best thing I can possibly roll. It's going to be 8 dice,
Woo!
and here we go. Okay, one tension, one adventure point, and I get to keep 2 dice automatically, so I'm going to go to 10.
All right. Well, there we go. So you beat both of them that are coming in at you. They are, batted away. What do you do in response?
I'll knock away I'll parry away their attacks with my war spear, and then I feel like you're the one in the lead, and I'll tell the guards that are helping me like to yeah, it's like kill them. That's what I'll say, I guess. And so then I'll attack. I'll use the same dice, so 8 dice,
Yeah.
and roll.
Oof.
And no attention, but
A
3
whole lot
adventure
of adventure
points.
points.
Wow,
Yeah. Woo.
3. And I think I'll be happy with 12. That seems. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Point in question. Because we haven't
Yeah.
done combat yet.
Mm-hmm.
The when we do damage, so when I succeed, it's not just doing 1 point of damage. I do the amount of damage of the difference in the dice, right?
Right. Right. In whatever the total is. So in your case, would you say you had a 12?
Well, that I have a 12, but I've got what I want to do then is I want to spend an adventure point to keep one more die
Yeah.
to put it at an 18,
Okay.
just
Yeah.
to remove all doubt. Just
Right,
more.
right. Because in that case, then the highest I can get with one of these goblins is only rolling 2 dice, is a 12. The difference is 6. So you're just gonna wind up obliterating the first of those goblins. I'm not even gonna bother rolling for it, because yeah, you take him out. His buddy, however, is committed at this point,
It's a
and
mistake.
just screams and like throws himself at you, flings himself in kind of this blind goblin fury because it turned out that actually you just killed his nephew,
Oh
Fork,
man,
and yeah, and man, his sister is gonna be so angry
so mad.
afterward. Um, so yeah, this goblin throws himself at you. He rolls his 2 dice, rolls 7, and I am actually going to spend a tension point to use the option to boost my total by the remaining amount of tension, which is 10. So this goblin now has a 17. He is enraged.
Merry Christmas. Okay. Well, on the plus side, this is my wheelhouse, so 8 dice. Okay, one tension. Oh my goodness.
3 more adventure points for you, though.
3 more adventure points. Whoa.
Well, how
Good.
many adventure points do you have? Can you just spend out to keep 37 at this point?
I mean, yeah. So you had a 17, right?
Yes.
And I need to get a 19 to squish this guy. I'm gonna spend 2
Well,
adventure
to
points.
avoid his squishing you, that is.
Oh, right. I'm on the
Yeah.
defense here. Right.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'll spend 2. So we got 6 left. And then, yeah, I'll attack back.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
And generate 2 tension points. 1 adventure point for myself. I will spend an adventure point to put it at 16.
Okay. Which is, I'm starting to roll and I really shouldn't, which is definitely enough to kill that goblin regardless of what I roll, unless I were to keep boosting him. But sadly, Thad goes just the way of his nephew Thork, and you put him out of his misery. There's Thad's sister Than will never hear how things went.
Oh no! I'll keep her in my memories always.
Yeah. So, with that particular trouble out of the way, what is going on at the top of the cliff is actually also about to get pretty dicey because in the midst of that, we generated enough tension. Not only did a tension break happen, but you also used up the rest of your time on the danger scale.
Oh no.
Yeah. So Gorthax says, "Enough! It is time!" And kind of bellows at everybody. Um, what's Alexios doing up there in this moment?
Um, he goes, you hate to see it. Listen, it sounds like your boss is calling, but and he points to Venar's weapon, and he like kind of gestures for them to pull it out. And then he says, "Work," and then he like turns them, like handle the back, and points them at Gorthak. Goes,
Oh, okay.
"For you."
He's really, really getting in there then. Okay. Well, Venar, like we discussed earlier, you've convinced him. He's come around at this point, and you turn him and point him at Gorthax, and Gorthax has kind of finished his bellowing at this point. Arms raised in the air, and he's starting to direct the goblins to charge. And Venar walks up behind him and just shanks him right then and there. And it turns out, I mean, troll hides are very, very thick, very sturdy. But when a blade is driven by troll muscles as well, it can pierce them. So unfortunately, Gorthax goes down. Well, unfortunately for Gorthax, anyway.
Alexio's just like, "Oh gods." It's like he knew it was going to happen, but he wasn't sure it was going to be like that.
Venar just like kicks no sorry reaches down, takes that big shiny necklace thing off of Gorthax and puts it around his own neck and kicks Gorthax's body off the cliff, and you just see it tumble down.
Well, I think we have started you on your path to self-employment. Venar, there is only one tiny thing that we need to have happen here to make sure that you can continue to be the new you.
What is that?
We got to get to Rockport to register you.
You register me?
Basically, it
But
says that none of the guards will come here and mess with you.
I do hate fighting off guards. They come once,
Often.
twice a year at least. And
Hard,
well,
right?
yeah.
Better armor, no good loot, very tricky.
Yes.
Oh, you might want to stop, though. He points to the goblins.
Oh, Venar, waves them back. No, no, no. Here, come here. And they dutifully obey because Venar is larger than them.
Alexio shakes their hands. Just, oh yeah, Alexio, I'm gonna help your boss become a better boss. Like, I'll be sending some brochures about how you can make sure that there's fairness in loot splitting and stuff. That way you don't have to worry about your best friend hitting you with a rock because you got a piece of metal and there's another piece of metal over there.
The goblins are kind of giving little cheers in their high pitched goblin voices, saying "We like metal" and
Ah,
that kind of thing. And so Venar says, "Okay, um, your plan sounds good. I will come with you."
well then. Welcome to the caravan, Venar. I'm gonna have to get you something to. And he pulls off his cloak and he goes, they'll think you killed me for this. He puts it back on. um, let's deal with the rocks first. Everybody,
Oh,
this is
rocks.
Venar. It's gonna help us get out of here.
And yeah, he goes to help, and it's trivially easy for this rock troll to just toss everything out of the way.
The entire time, Alexio's eyes just widen. He's like, "What have I done?"
Bronwyn, for one, welcomes their troll overlords to their caravan.
I don't know if we have a caravan with a soft bed for you, Venar. You are very large compared to our caravan.
I will walk. Rockport is over there. It is not far.
Okay,
And
let's go.
Odloff is there in charge and just like totally bewildered at what is going on and the troll that's nearby, and he's kind of like shaking a little bit. But when you say onward, he cracks the whip.
I think he sits down beside Odloff and he's just like, I'm so sorry. I did not think it would go that way, but nobody got hurt, spare for that one troll and those two goblins.
And we're there. Odd laugh, just like is clearly trying to convince himself through clenched teeth. We are nearly there.
How does the law feel about setting up a toll out here?
You'll have to ask them in Rockport about that. I'm from Mistwind. I have no idea what they do here.
That's good. I haven't seen a single toll since we've left. Oh, I love capitalism. Onward.
And at this point, I'm gonna assume everybody loads up and makes it down the pass at without further happenstance up here. And then outside of the game, floating questions to you guys. 9:35. I know we blew more time than anticipated early before we got going. This has been really awesome so far. I had some stuff planned for Rockport, but now I am. I don't know. This went well from an interesting fun point, but I am thinking to myself, what I have for Rockport, I'm afraid that gets pretty out of hand as we go, at just like time wise is what I'm thinking and wondering.
Yeah, probably. Now, what I liked about though that we did is that we got to do both the social and the
Mm-hmm.
combat. Like
Mm-hmm.
that got covered. Um, I do want to throw a quick ad in there. Like Bronwyn hired some guards, and people are not happy with that. You get to bring a troll, and that's fine. All right, whatever. Um,
It's a troll for like
Well,
2 miles.
yeah. For what it's worth, I already had some, let's say, um, official opposition to your presence when you try to enter Rockport Plant, and I
sure.
think they are not going to approve of that troll at all.
As far as playing anymore, I would like it to be over at this point. I think if that's okay. Um, no, I don't mind doing a part two some other night.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna kind of check and see what you guys wanted or were thought on that front.
I'm good with a part two. I love getting to play other games,
Yeah.
and like this is fun. Tension's a fun system to play with. Uh, and I know that you're doing the jam right now, but some of the stuff that people are coming up with is so cool. So just getting the word out about how flexible this actually is.
Yeah. I'm
Yep.
hoping that'll be really good. And yeah, some of the stuff those other folks have been talking about in the server looks awesome. And it literally looks awesome. That other guy,
Oh yeah,
I can't remember now, but that posted like some pictures of some work in progress. Like that layout was already looking
beautiful. It
sick.
was looking great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not I don't hang around in a lot of the people I've interviewed for like a long-term time, but I've been in Gamenomicon for probably about well, we can check.
Yeah, a couple of
Probably
years at
close,
least. Yeah.
yeah, probably about 2 years at this point. But um, yeah, just like getting to see the stuff that people push out for this and hear the stories. I I dig it. I dig it a lot.
Yeah, 100%. Like from talking to the for Fari, like when he said like layout was like one of the skills that like that he ended with, and then like seeing that guy go like, "Hey, here's the idea," and then just his first throwing up of art next to the numbers, I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, yeah, I can't do that." That totally makes the difference right there. It looks so sharp, and it makes me want to check
Hmm.
out the game immediately. That's really awesome.
That's a real skill set.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Well, okay. In the broad